Prologue: Earth's Final Echo. In the waning days of Earth's existence, as the planet teetered on the brink of irreversible devastation, humanity was forced to confront the culmination of its own follies. Decades of environmental neglect, wars over dwindling resources, and the relentless exploitation of the planet had exacted a heavy toll. The Earth, once a vibrant cradle of life, had become a shadow of its former self, its skies choked with pollution, its oceans poisoned, and its lands barren. Amidst this chaos and ruin, the remnants of humanity clung to survival, haunted by the specter of extinction. It was in this moment of dire desperation that the greatest minds of the age came together, united by a singular purpose to ensure the survival of the human species. The project, born out of necessity and fueled by the last vestiges of hope, was unprecedented in its ambition. A colony ship christened the Odyssey was to be humanity's final hope, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. This vessel, a marvel of human ingenuity and determination, was designed to traverse the vast, uncharted expanse of space in search of a new home for mankind. The destination was Acheron, a distant planet orbiting a dim star at the very edge of the galaxy. Discovered by the remnants of Earth's space agencies, Acheron represented a glimmer of hope, a chance for a fresh start on a world untainted by human error. The planet, with its stable climate, abundant water, and fertile lands, was deemed humanity's best chance for survival. It was a world that promised the possibility of a new Eden, where the lessons of Earth's past could guide the creation of a better future. The Odyssey was a testament to what humanity could achieve when united by a common cause. The ship carried the seeds of Earth's knowledge and technology, preserved in vast digital archives and state-of-the-art laboratories. It was equipped with systems designed to sustain life during the long journey through the void of space, hydroponic gardens, recycling systems, and artificial ecosystems. But more than just a vessel of survival, the Odyssey carried the hopes and dreams of its passengers, a diverse group of pioneers drawn from every corner of the dying Earth. These pioneers, selected for their skills, knowledge, and adaptability, represented the best of humanity. Scientists and engineers, doctors and teachers, artists and philosophers, all were bound by a shared vision of a new beginning. They understood the weight of the responsibility that rested on their shoulders. In their hands lay not just the survival of their own lives, but the continuation of the human legacy. As the Odyssey prepared to embark on its monumental journey, the people of Earth watched with bated breath. For many, the ship represented the final chapter in the story of their planet, a poignant reminder of what had been lost. But for those aboard and for the generations that would follow, the Odyssey was a symbol of hope. It was a chance to rewrite the narrative of humanity, to build a society that learned from the mistakes of the past and looked to the future with determination and optimism. And so, as the Odyssey lifted off from the dying Earth, leaving behind a world that had been both cradle and crucible, it carried with it the collective will of humanity. Ahead lay the unknown challenges of the cosmos, the mysteries of Acheron, and the unyielding promise of a new dawn. In the twilight years of Earth, amidst the echoes of its final echo, humanity's last hope soared into the infinite, guided by the indomitable spirit of those who dared to dream of a better tomorrow. Chapter 1: New Eden's Descent. As the centuries unfolded on Acheron, the memories of Earth became legends, whispered in the winds that swept across the barren landscapes. The descendants of the original pioneers, born under the dim glow of Acheron's distant sun, knew no other home. New Eden, once a symbol of humanity's resilience and hope, had transformed over generations into a fortress, a bulwark against the relentless, harsh elements of this alien world. The colony was encased in massive protective domes, engineered marvels designed to shield its inhabitants from the lethal solar flares that frequently erupted from Acheron's volatile star. These flares, capable of scorching the planet's surface and disrupting electronic systems, were just one of the many adversities the colonists faced. Violent storms, born from the planet's tumultuous atmosphere, frequently battered the domes with winds that howled like ancient earth spirits. Within these domes, the colonists carved out an existence amidst a landscape that was never truly tamed. Over time, the technology that sustained New Eden began to falter. The systems that recycled air and water, that maintained the delicate balance of their artificial environment, were wearing down. Spare parts became rare, and the knowledge to repair complex machinery was fading, lost with each passing generation. Dr. Lin Zhao, a direct descendant of one of New Eden's founding scientists, had grown up under the pale, unyielding light of Acheron's star. Her childhood was steeped in the digital archives of Earth, where she learned of blue skies, vast oceans, and green forests, wonders no one on Acheron had ever seen. These stories, passed down by the elders, painted a picture of a lost paradise, fueling Lin's determination to preserve what remained of their own world. As New Eden's chief environmental scientist, Lin was acutely aware of the colony's precarious state. The environmental control systems, once the colony's lifeline, were now decades old and increasingly unreliable. Crop yields were declining as the artificial lights that mimicked the sun's rays grew dimmer, unable to fully power the photosynthesis needed for healthy plant growth. The situation was dire. Each breakdown and system failure was a stark reminder of their vulnerability. Lin spent her days navigating the fine line between managing the colony's immediate needs and planning for its long-term survival. She led teams of engineers and scientists in efforts to patch up the failing systems, all the while researching alternative solutions that might one day replace the failing technology inherited from their forebears. But Lin's challenges were not solely technical. The psychological toll on the colonists was palpable. The constant state of emergency, the claustrophobic confines of the domes, and the unending struggle against Acheron's hostility bred a sense of despair. The stories of Earth, once sources of inspiration, now seemed cruel reminders of all they had lost and might never regain. Amidst these trials, Lin emerged as a beacon of resilience. Her deep understanding of both the scientific and human elements of the colony's struggle made her a respected and pivotal figure in New Eden. She championed the development of new educational programs to pass on crucial knowledge and skills, ensuring that each new generation could continue the fight for survival. Chapter 2: The Probe's Legacy. On a storm-laden evening, as the relentless winds of Acheron wailed through the desolate landscapes, like the mournful cries of a forgotten earth, a metallic object plummeted from the darkened sky. It crashed with a thunderous impact into the barren wastelands just beyond the protective barriers of the colony. This object, scarred by its interstellar voyage and weathered by time, was an ancient Earth probe, a relic from an era when humanity still harbored dreams of cosmic exploration. The colonists of New Eden, driven by a mix of desperation and curiosity, mounted a recovery operation. Under the harsh light of Acheron's distant sun, they approached the crash site, where the probe lay embedded in the sand, its exterior scorched and dented, a testament to its long journey through the void. The recovery team, equipped with their limited tools, worked diligently to excavate the probe from its sandy grave, uncovering a piece of Earth's ambitious past. Inside the probe, encased in layers of hardened circuitry that had survived the ravages of space, was a digital treasure trove. The colonists discovered that the probe's memory banks held detailed archives of its mission data, including a map encoded with the coordinates of a new, potentially habitable world. This map, projected onto the screens in New Eden's command center, showed a planet lush with the possibility of water, stable atmospheres, and life-sustaining temperatures, a stark contrast to the dying world of Acheron. The revelation of the map ignited a tumult of emotions throughout New Eden. Excitement at the prospect of a new beginning mixed with fear of the unknown. The colony's council, led by the pragmatic Dr. Lin Zhao, convened in an emergency session to debate their next course of action. The options laid before them were stark and fraught with peril. With their resources dwindling and Acheron's environment becoming increasingly hostile, the choice seemed clear yet daunting. Embark on a perilous journey to this new world, or face certain extinction on their crumbling planet. Debates raged among the council members. Some argued that the risks of the journey were too great, that the colony's limited technology and aging spacecraft might not withstand the rigors of interstellar travel. Others, driven by a sense of adventure and the dire circumstances of their current existence, advocated for the journey, seeing it as the only viable path forward, a chance to reclaim the future that Acheron could no longer provide. Dr. Lin, ever the voice of reason, proposed a balanced approach. She suggested sending a smaller, exploratory mission first, a team of volunteers who would assess the habitability of the new world and report back. This plan would minimize risk while still taking a proactive step towards securing a future for the colony. As the council deliberated, the rest of the colony watched and waited. The news of the probe and its map spread like wildfire, sparking discussions among families, friends, and co-workers. The very thought of leaving Acheron, their home for generations, to venture into the unknown, stirred a collective sense of wonder and trepidation. Ultimately, the council voted in favor of Dr. Lin's plan. Preparations began for the exploratory mission. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to retrofit one of their older spacecraft, equipping it with the best technology they could muster. Volunteers were selected, trained, and briefed on every conceivable scenario they might face. As the launch day approached, the entire colony gathered to witness the historic event. The spacecraft, christened the Pathfinder, stood on the launch pad, gleaming under Acheron's weak sunlight, a symbol of New Eden's indomitable spirit. With the world they knew fading behind them, and the promise of a new dawn ahead, the colonists of New Eden stood united, their eyes fixed on the stars, ready to step into the unknown. Chapter 3: The Division. As the reality of the impending journey settled over New Eden, the colony found itself gripped by a wave of dissent that threatened to fracture the fragile unity that had sustained them through generations of hardship. The preparations for the journey, which involved retrofitting the old spacecraft Pioneer, unearthed deep-seated fears and ideological divides among the colonists. Marcus, the colony's chief security officer, emerged as the leader of the opposition. A staunch traditionalist, he viewed the proposed expedition as a radical departure from the colony's mission and a betrayal of the sacrifices made by their forebears. His faction, composed of like-minded settlers, argued passionately that their duty was to persevere and adapt to Acheron, not abandon it in pursuit of an uncertain dream. Marcus warned of the myriad unknown dangers lurking in the void of space dangers that, in his view, could dwarf the perils they already knew on Acheron. His vivid descriptions of potential cosmic catastrophes, collisions with asteroids, exposure to cosmic radiation, and the psychological toll of extended space travel stirred fear and uncertainty among the populace. In stark contrast, Dr. Lin Zhao, backed by a coalition of scientists and younger colonists hungry for change, advocated for the journey as a necessary risk to ensure the survival and renewal of their society. Lin and her supporters faced the opposition with a blend of scientific reasoning, and appeals to the adventurous spirit that had once driven humanity to explore the stars. They argued that clinging to Acheron, a planet that was clearly failing to support them, was a sure path to extinction. The council meetings were charged with tension, as both sides presented their cases. Debates raged long into the night, often punctuated by heated exchanges. The community was split, with some calling for caution and others, driven by desperation and hope, urging immediate action. Amidst this ideological battle, the technical challenges of preparing the Pioneer for its monumental journey loomed large. The spacecraft, a relic of the original colony ship and never intended for interstellar travel, required extensive modifications. Engineers and technicians, working under Lin's guidance, labored around the clock to retrofit the ship with scavenged technology and the remnants of their dwindling resources. They upgraded its propulsion systems, reinforced its structural integrity, and revamped its life support systems to sustain the crew for the duration of their journey. As the retrofitting progressed, Lin organized a series of community forums designed to educate the colonists about the scientific and logistical aspects of the mission. These forums served as a platform for addressing fears, dispelling myths, and fostering a sense of collective endeavor. Lin's calm demeanor and clear explanations gradually won over many who had been skeptical or fearful of the journey. The turning point came when a young engineer who had grown up hearing stories of Earth's blue skies and vast oceans from her grandparents gave a moving speech about the potential of finding a new world that could one day support their children in ways Acheron never could. Her words resonated deeply, tipping the balance in favor of the journey. In the end, the council gave its grudging approval to proceed with the mission. While the decision did not quell all dissent, it marked a new chapter for the colonists of New Eden. With a mixture of trepidation and resolve, they watched as the Pioneer, now a symbol of their hopes and fears, underwent its final preparations. As the launch date approached, the colony stood at a crossroads, poised between the familiar darkness of Acheron and the starlit promise of a new beginning. Chapter 4: Into the Void. The Pioneer's journey into the void was an odyssey that tested the limits of human ingenuity, courage, and resilience. As the spacecraft ventured beyond the familiar confines of Acheron's orbit, it entered a realm where the rules of existence seemed to be written in the language of cosmic chaos. The void was not merely an absence of matter. It was a vast expanse filled with unpredictable dangers and stunning phenomena that few humans had ever witnessed. Micrometeoroids, remnants of ancient cosmic collisions, swarmed through the void like swarms of lethal insects. These tiny, high-velocity particles pelted the Pioneer's hull, creating a symphony of impacts that kept the crew on constant alert. Each hit, though minor, was a reminder of the spacecraft's fragility in the face of the cosmos's indifferent might. Solar storms, the violent eruptions of energy from stars, posed a more formidable threat. These tempests of charged particles and electromagnetic radiation could, if not properly shielded against, wreak havoc on the Pioneer's critical systems. The crew monitored the space weather with vigilance, adjusting their course and shielding to mitigate the effects of these cosmic maelstroms. Lin, with her deep understanding of astrophysics, guided these efforts, her calm voice over the intercom providing reassurance in moments of uncertainty. The crew of the Pioneer was a microcosm of New Eden itself, a blend of seasoned astronauts who had trained for years for a mission like this, and eager young scientists, each handpicked for their expertise and their adaptability. This diverse group worked in harmony, their skills complementing each other, their spirits buoyed by the shared purpose of their mission. Under Lin's steady leadership, they became more than just a crew. They became a family, united in their quest for a new home. However, the void had more trials in store. Halfway to their destination, as the Pioneer navigated a particularly desolate expanse of space, disaster struck. A rogue comet, a ghostly wanderer of the cosmos, emerged from the darkness. Its trajectory, altered by gravitational forces unknown, put it on a collision course with the spacecraft. Despite the crew's frantic efforts to alter their course, the comet clipped the Pioneer, its icy body grazing the spacecraft with devastating force. The impact was catastrophic. The Pioneer's propulsion system, the heart of the spacecraft, was crippled, its intricate machinery torn apart by the force of the collision. Precious atmosphere vented into space through breaches in the hull, leaving the crew gasping for air and fighting to seal the gaps. Power fluctuations plunged sections of the spacecraft into darkness, adding to the chaos. In the aftermath of the collision, Lin's leadership was put to the ultimate test. As the crew raced against time to seal the breaches and jury-rig the damaged engines, tensions flared. Fear and exhaustion took their toll, leading to heated arguments and, in some cases, outright mutiny. A faction of the crew, driven to despair by the dire situation, blamed Lin for their plight, questioning her decisions and challenging her authority. Lin faced this mutiny with the same resolve and calm that had characterized her leadership from the beginning. Drawing on her deep reserves of strength, she worked tirelessly alongside her crew, patching up the damaged hull, recalibrating the life support systems, and improvising solutions to keep the Pioneer on course. Her unwavering determination, her refusal to give in to despair, slowly turned the tide of sentiment among the crew. As they worked together to overcome the challenges posed by the void, the crew of the Pioneer rediscovered their unity and their purpose. The journey through the void, fraught with peril and marked by moments of sheer terror, became a testament to their resilience. Under Lin's leadership, they emerged from the darkness, not just as survivors, but as pioneers, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their quest for a new beginning. Chapter 5: A New Dawn. After what seemed like an eternity adrift among the stars, the Pioneer finally arrived at the coordinates. The planet, which they named Hope, was a verdant world of blue oceans, green forests, and gentle skies, a stark contrast to the barren Acheron. As the Pioneer descended through the atmosphere, the colonists crowded around the viewports, eager for their first glimpse of their new home. The planet unfolded below them in a tapestry of vibrant colors and diverse landscapes. Expanses of lush green forests stretched out, punctuated by the deep blues of winding rivers and vast oceans. The sight of such abundant life was overwhelming, a stark reminder of what they had left behind on Earth and struggled to maintain on Acheron. The landing was gentle, a soft thud on a grassy plain near the edge of a dense forest. The airlock doors opened, and the colonists stepped out onto Hope, taking their first breaths of fresh alien air. It was crisp and sweet, filled with the scents of flowering plants and the earthy aroma of fertile soil. The gravity was slightly lighter than Earth's, a subtle reminder that they were far from their original home. Dr. Lin Zhao was among the first to step onto the surface. She knelt, running her fingers through the soil. It was rich and loamy, dark with organic matter. Around her, the other colonists began exploring. Laughter and calls of wonder echoing as they discovered the joys of their new world. The initial exploration revealed a planet teeming with life. Streams teemed with fish that glittered like jewels under the clear water, their scales reflecting the light of Hope's twin suns. Fruit trees bore produce that was oddly shaped but enticing, with flavors that were a delightful mix of sweet and tart. Flowering plants released fragrances that perfumed the air, creating an almost intoxicating atmosphere of freshness and vitality. As the days passed, the colonists began the hard work of building their new Eden. They set up temporary shelters and started planning the layout of what they hoped would become a thriving community. Lin, with her background in environmental science, took charge of planning the agricultural efforts. They would need to test the compatibility of Earth crops with the soil and climate of Hope, but the initial assessments were promising. The scientists among them started cataloging the planet's flora and fauna. They discovered species of insects that glowed in the dark, their bioluminescence turning the night into a field of twinkling lights. Birds with iridescent feathers sang from the treetops, their melodies strange yet beautiful. But it wasn't all benign. They also found plants with thorns that released a mild toxin, causing irritation if touched. It was a reminder that hope, while welcoming, was not without its dangers. One of the most remarkable discoveries was a grove of trees that seemed to communicate through a network of root systems. When one tree was damaged, the others around it would change color, their leaves turning from bright green to a soft blue. This phenomenon piqued the interest of the botanists, who hypothesized that the trees might possess a form of sentience, or at least a complex system of environmental response. As they settled in, the colonists began to feel a profound connection to hope. It was as if the planet itself was embracing them, offering its bounty to support their dreams of a new beginning. They were no longer just survivors of a dying world. They were pioneers, caretakers of a new home in the cosmos. The challenges ahead were daunting. They would need to build a sustainable society, manage their resources wisely, and learn to live in harmony with the ecosystem of hope. But for now, as they watched the suns set over the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of orange and purple, they allowed themselves to feel hope. Here, in this moment, on this vibrant, life-filled planet, the future was bright. Epilogue: The Legacy of New Eden. Years passed, and the colony on Hope flourished beyond the initial dreams of its settlers. Under the wise and steady leadership of Dr. Lin Zhao, who came to be regarded as the matriarch of this new world, Hope transformed from a fledgling settlement into a vibrant, thriving society. Lin's vision for the colony was deeply influenced by the harsh lessons learned from Earth's demise and the struggles on Acheron. She championed a society that prioritized sustainability, community, and harmony with the environment, principles that became the bedrock of their new civilization. The society on Hope was built on the foundations of cooperation and innovation. Renewable energy sources, like solar and wind, harvested from Hope's abundant natural resources, powered their cities. Agriculture thrived, with earth crops adapted to the local ecosystem and new varieties of native plants integrated into their diets. Education was revered, with children taught not only the sciences and arts, but also the history of Earth and Acheron, ensuring that the past's mistakes were not forgotten. As Lin aged, she spent many evenings gazing at the stars, her mind wandering among the infinite possibilities that lay in the paths humanity might take. She pondered the future of hope, the potential for further space exploration, and the chance of encountering other civilizations. Her legacy was a world that looked forward, always with an eye on the past, ensuring that every step taken was one of mindful progress. The community on Hope remembered Earth and Acheron not just as lost homes, but as vital lessons in the fragility of existence and the importance of stewardship. Annual remembrances were held, where stories of Earth's blue oceans and green forests, as well as Acheron's stark beauty and brutal challenges, were shared. These stories, passed down through generations, became myths that grounded them as they built their future. Technological advancements on Hope did not just focus on survival, but also on improving quality of life and understanding the universe. The astronomers built observatories to gaze deep into the cosmos, while biologists explored the depths of Hope's oceans and the intricacies of its forests, discovering and cataloging the wonders of their new world. The last colony of Earth had indeed found its new home, not through conquest or chance, but through the indomitable human spirit, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of those who dare to dream beyond the horizon. This spirit, coupled with a deep respect for the past and a hopeful gaze toward the future, shaped a society that, while always mindful of its origins, looked forward to a brighter, boundless future. As Lin passed on, her final words encapsulated the journey of humanity, from its cradle on Earth to its new home on Hope. We carry the legacy of two worlds, not to anchor us to the past, but to guide us as we navigate the stars. Her legacy lived on, not just in the thriving cities and lush fields of hope, but in the hearts of all who believed in the potential of humanity to rise, rebuild, and reimagine its destiny among the stars.